What's going on, you guys? My name is Zach Hartley, and in this video I'm going to walk you through the best indicators to use when you're starting out day trading. Here we go. Alright, so the four most important indicators on that chart when you sit down at your computer are the price action. What is the actual price doing and where is the support and resistance? Secondly is the MACD indicator. Thirdly is the RSI. And fourthly is one of the moving averages, whether it's a VWAP, a simple moving average, or an exponential moving average. I'm going to walk you through how to set those up in your chart, but let's get into price action real quick. Now, what I mean when I say price action is the support and resistance levels on the chart. So if the Apple stock continually tests $120 but can't break through 120, that is resistance. If it continually drops to $100 but doesn't break below 100, then that is called support. And when you see peaks on the chart where it is consistently making higher and higher highs or lower and lower lows, those are trend lines. And when you have enough trend lines and enough support and resistance, you can start to form patterns. And these are the most important thing on the chart. The price and the price action is the most important thing on the chart, more so than any fancy indicator anybody is going to try and point out to you or sell you or show you. The price action is the most important thing on the chart. And so when you're drawing support and resistance lines, those overrule any other indicator that you were looking at. Those are more important than anything else on the chart. Now, what we use our indicators for is to give us some signs. All right, so indicators. There is no best indicator. There is no ultimate indicator that's always right, that's going to give you the best return or maximize profits on a specific stock. There are some indicators that work better in specific industries or with specific companies. However, there is no one that is the golden ticket or the golden answer here. There is no indicator that works 100% of the time. It doesn't matter what it says. You could have the greatest buy signal in the world. If your CEO gets hit by a bus or your company misses earnings or some type of bad news comes out, that stock is going to take a hit, and it doesn't matter how good your indicator is. It is not going to be able to predict or anticipate that. Now, indicators are there to provide you with buy and sell signs. They are not saying buy now and sell now. They're saying, hey, this specific indicator is showing some buy sign. And when you combine that with 1, 2, 3 different other indicators and what's happening on your chart with the price action, that is how you personally figure out your buy and sell points. You do not do it based off one indicator. You should never be making a trade based off one indicator. These are meant to be used together, and anybody selling you an indicator is selling you a scam, because all these indicators are is just math equations based off the price or the volume or some other variable on the chart. All they are is math equations, and if somebody's trying to sell you a specific indicator, he is trying to rip you off, so do not believe them. Now, before we get into the charts, I just want to tell you about Skillshare and Questrade. I do have a free stock market course on Skillshare. There's over 8 hours of content on there, over 40 different lessons, and I've had over 530 students spend over 61,000 minutes on this course. So if you guys are interested, it is completely free. When you sign up with Skillshare, you get 2 weeks completely free with the link down below, and you can cancel at any time, meaning if you can go through the whole course, it's 8 hours. If you can do it within 2 weeks, you get the entire course for free. And then when you are ready and you want to set up your trading brokerage, I have a link down below as well for $50 in free commissions with Questrade. So if you want to get started, you don't want to pay $5 or $10 a trade, definitely check this out because it's a great way to get started. Now, let's jump into the charts. Okay, so this is what Questrade looks like. As you can see, I'm looking at Apple stock. I'm looking at a day trading chart here. So every candle here is 1 minute, and I'm basically looking at 9:30 a.m. until about 12 o'clock noon. So this was the morning session for Apple on October 20th. So this was just yesterday. And if you guys are interested in seeing me actually trade Apple, I did make a video a little while ago where I think I made about 60% day trading Apple just in one day. We did absolutely phenomenal. So definitely check that out. I'll put a thumbnail up right now. But for today, we're going to go through what indicators to use. And so this is the example from yesterday morning. This is how I would look at the chart. So the first thing we need to do is look at the price action. And how we do that is by drawing areas of support and resistance. So the first thing I'm going to do here is draw our resistance that was established from the high that was set at the early morning around 10:08 a.m. We have a clear high that was set at $117, and the stock hasn't traded really close to there ever since. We also have a low that was set early this morning around $115, and that was set at around 9:40 a.m. Now, when I say that there's support and resistance here, I do not mean that there's support and resistance at this very thin line. What I really mean by this is that there's probably a range of resistance somewhere between 117.30 and 117.70. Same thing up here. It's probably about this large. So this is going to be my support band. This is going to be my resistance band. And now what I want to do is start to draw some trend lines to identify where is the right time to buy and sell. And so how we do that is by connecting the lows and the highs on the chart. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to draw one trend line where you can see, okay, that one pretty much connects. Again here, that one pretty much connects, goes like this. And all I'm trying to do is basically draw this zigzag across the chart that will say, okay, here's the trend. The stock is currently moving up right now. The stock's currently moving down. The stock's currently moving up. And that's what I'm trying to identify with these trends. And then from this, we can start to identify our buy and sell signals. So the sell signal would be when the price crosses below the trend line. As you can see, it basically happened right here. Another signal would be when the price crosses above the trend line. As you can see, that happened right here. Again, you can see the price cross below the trend line right here and above the trend line right here. And so these are our first buy and sell signals based off of price action. This is how you draw trend lines. This is how you draw support and resistance. And this is how you identify your initial buy and sell points is based off of price action. This is the most important thing on the chart. So let's just recap what we've done so far. We've identified the low of the day and we've identified the high of the day. We've established that there's support and resistance at these levels. Now the price has traded within those levels a little bit, so we've drawn trend lines. Those trend lines are drawn by connecting the lows and the highs of the price action over time to form basically buy and sell signals. We can see our first sell signal right here, our first buy signal right here, sell signal right here, and buy signal right here. These buy and sell signals come when the price crosses through that trend line. So we have drawn a trend line right here, and clearly the price crossed below that trend line. All right, now that we've got our price action mapped out and we have some initial buy and sell signals, what we want to do is overlay our indicators onto this to see if they align and they agree with our assumptions. So the first one that we're going to do is the MACD. So to add the MACD in Questrade, you have to come up here and click on Studies. Now a drop-down menu will appear. I don't know if it's actually going to show up on my screen recorder or not, but you basically come to Trend Indicators and you click on MACD with histogram, and this little window pops up here. And so this is the MACD. Now MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence. And basically what it does is it shows you the two different moving averages and it tells you when they're going to cross. And it does that by showing you a signal line and a MACD line. Now the MACD line is this blue line and the signal line is the red line. You get your buy and sell signals when they cross over. And so as you can see right here, the blue MACD line crossed above the red signal line. That is a buy signal. When the blue line crosses above the red line, when the MACD crosses above the signal line, that is a buy signal. And so I've put a little marker on here. When the blue line crosses below the red line, that is a sell signal. And as you move forward, you can do it again. When the blue line crosses above the red line, that is a buy signal. And when the blue line crosses below the red line, that is a sell signal. When the blue line crosses above the red line, that is a buy signal. And so now this is our MACD. And basically we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buy and sell signals on here. And if you look at them, you can see that they line up almost perfectly with the buy and sell signals on our chart. So this first one right here, where you can see it's a very clear sell signal, you can see that the price also crossed through our trend line right here and it gave us a very clear sell signal. These ones almost line up perfectly. You can see the exact same thing again here on the next one where we got a buy signal. The MACD line crossed above the signal line, giving us a buy signal, and the price crossed above the previous trend line, also giving us a buy signal. So now we have two signals that have lined up saying, hey, it's a good idea to get into the stock. Now, if you want more confirmation, that's where you start to add on more indicators. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to minimize the MACD and I'm going to add in the RSI. So I've now got the RSI, the Relative Strength Index indicator, down here at the bottom of my chart. And basically what this does is it says the stock is either oversold or overbought. Too many people are buying in or too many people are selling out, and it probably doesn't represent the fair value of the stock at the moment. And so the way you read this indicator is that this blue line, when it crosses above and below these red lines, it gives you buy and sell indications. And so when the blue line is below the red line here, it is basically in the oversold zone. That means a lot of people are selling it right now and it's probably oversold. When it crosses above this red line, that means it's leaving the oversold zone, and that is going to be our buy signal. That is when we're going to say it is no longer being oversold because people are starting to step in and buy it into the actual price range that it should be, and hopefully it goes all the way up even higher and higher, because this indicator can tell us that as well. And so this is the buy signal, and the sell signal is the exact opposite. So when the blue line crosses into the overbought zone, that's what it's called when it's above the red line, and then it exits below the red line, that is our sell signal. That is it leaving the overbought zone, and it means people are starting to sell it off, and that is the indication there. And so when you look at this, we have our buy signal right here, we have our sell signal right here, and if you go all the way down, you can see the price basically tested this red line once, twice, and then 3 times. It just sort of hardly dipped in there, maybe barely crossed over the red line, but this was our next buy signal. And so you can see this buy signal lines up pretty close to our MACD, lines up pretty close to our price action as well. It unfortunately didn't cross into the overbought zone with our other indicators here, and that's why I'm saying no indicator is going to be 100%. If you look at the MACD, it lined up perfectly. If you look at the RSI, it lined up on the first 3, but the second 2 didn't quite reach the overbought or oversold zone, so it didn't give us a clear and direct signal. Now, the last indicator that I want to point out to you is some form of moving average. You can do this in a variety of ways. It can be a simple moving average where it just takes a period and divides it and gives you a line. You can also do an exponential moving average where it puts more emphasis on the most recent trading periods. And you can also look at the volume weighted average price, which takes into account volume as well. So there is 3 different options here. Now for me personally, I like to use the simple moving average, and I've added it into this chart here. It is in the form of this blue line right here. And as you can see, it basically follows the stock and it moves along with the stock. And I basically use this to say, okay, is the stock bullish or is the stock bearish? And is that trend changing? When the stock breaks through the simple moving average, it basically shows me, hey, there's a trend change happening here. And if that lines up with the rest of my indicators as well as the price action, it gives me my final confirmation to make the trade. So, okay, so if you had to ask me for a checklist on how I make my day trades, this is what it would be. Number 1 is price action. That is the number 1 most important thing, and I have to see a buy or sell opportunity based on support, resistance, breaking through a trend line, or an identifiable pattern. After that, I want to confirm my assumption with the MACD. I want to have the MACD on my side, and I want to see a crossover of the MACD line crossing over or under the signal line to give me a buy or sell opportunity. After that, I would like either the RSI to confirm that assumption and confirm that buy or sell signal, or I would like to see the moving average confirm that buy or sell signal. If I have at least 3 out of 4 of those line up, I will usually take the trade. And as long as no major earnings are coming out or no major economic news are coming out, that is usually the recipe for me to get into a day trade. So that is how I look at a chart. That is how I break it down. If you guys got any value out of this, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. I sincerely appreciate it. And if you're interested in taking a stock market course, I got 8 hours of content that is completely free on Skillshare. Check out the link below, and $50 in free trading when you sign up for Quest Trade. I don't know what else I can give you guys. See you in the next video.